A very nice welcome, Simhesvara Prabhu, 3 times, blessing 3 times, Haribol.
Haribol, Haribol,
Haribol,
Haribol.
Haribol.
Thank you, dear devotees. Thank you, Mataji. Let me find. Because I find difficulties to share database. Okay, let me share now. Let's see. Okay. So hope you can see the screen. So we'll begin. So please repeat after me if you can. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam Namaskrityam
Narayanam
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Devi Saraswatim Vyasam
Tado Jayamudiraye
Tato Jayamudiraye
Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu
Nasta Prayeshu Avabhadreshu
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Nityam Bhagavata Seviya
Bhagavadi Uttama Sloke Bhagavadi Uttama Sloke
Bhagavati Uttama Sloke
Bhaktir Bhavadi Naishtigim.
Bhakti Bhavati Naistiki.
So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, verse number 65. This is a very famous verse. Pretty much everybody knows this verse. And please repeat after me. Manmana bhava madbhakto
Manmana Bhava
madhyaji mam namaskuru mame vaishyasya satyam te pradijane priyosi me manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mame vaishyasya satyam te pradijane priyosi me manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mame vaishyasya satyam te pradijane priyosi me. Please repeat if you can. Please recite.
Manmana Bhava Madbhakto
Manmana bhava madbhakto
Madhyaji Namaskuru
madhyaji mam namaskuru
Mame Vaishyasi Satyate
vaishyasya satyam te
Patijane Priyosime
pradijane priyosi me.
Manmana bhava madbhakto
Manmana bhava madbhakto
Madhyaji mam namaskuru.
Madhyaji
Madhyajimam namaskurum.
Mame vaishyasi satyam te.
Mame vashyasi satyam de.
Pratijani priyosi me.
Pratijane priyosi me.
Manmana bhav madbhakto
Manmana bhava madbhakto.
madhyaji mam namaskuru
Madhyajimam namaskuru.
mam evasyasi satyam te
Mame vashyasi satyam de.
pratijane priyosi me.
Pratijane priyosi me.
Manmana bhava madbhakto
Manmana
Manmana
bhava
bhav
madbhakto.
madbhakto
madhyaji mam namaskuru
Madhyajimam
madhyajimam
namaskuru.
namaskuru
mame vaishyashi satyam te
Mame
mame
vashyasi
vasyasi
satyam
satyam
de.
te
pratijane priyos asmi.
Pratijane priyosi me.
Mm.
Anybody else? Okay, so we'll go word by word meaning. Synonyms. Madmana, thinking of me.
Madmana,
Yeah.
thinking of me.
Bhava,
Bhava,
just become.
just become.
Madbhakta,
Madbhakta,
my devotee.
my devotee.
Madhyaji,
Madhyaji,
my worshipper.
my worshipper.
Mam,
Mam,
unto me.
unto me.
Namaskuru,
Namaskuru,
offer your obeisances.
offer your obeisances.
Mam,
Mam,
unto me.
unto me.
Eva,
Eva,
certainly.
certainly.
Ashyasi,
Ashyasi,
you will come.
you will come.
Satyam,
Satyam,
truly.
truly.
Te,
Te,
to you.
to you.
Pratijane,
Pratijane,
I promise.
I promise.
Priyaha,
Priyaha,
dear.
dear.
Asi,
Asi,
you are.
you are.
Me,
Me,
to me.
to me.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.
Jai.
Translation, please repeat after me. Always think of me.
Always think of me.
Always think of me.
Become my devotee.
Become my devotee.
Worship me
Worship me.
Worship me.
and offer your homage unto me.
Offer your
And
homage
offer your
unto me.
homage unto me.
Thus you will come to me
Thus
Thus
you
you
will
will come to me
without fail.
without fail.
I promise you this
I
I
promise you
promise you
this
this
because you are my very dear friend.
because
because
you are my very dear
friend.
friend.
Thank you. The purport. The most confidential part of knowledge is that one should become a pure devotee of Krishna and always think of him and act for him. One should not become an official meditator. Life should be so molded that one will always have the chance to think of Krishna. One should always act in such a way that all his daily activities are in connection with the Krishna. He should arrange his life in such a way that throughout the 24 hours, he cannot but think of Krishna. And the Lord's promise is that anyone who is in such pure consciousness will certainly return to the abode of Krishna, where he will be engaged in the association of Krishna face to face. This most confidential part of knowledge is spoken to Arjuna because he is the dear friend of Krishna. Everyone who follows the path of Arjuna can become a dear friend to Krishna and obtain the same perfection as Arjuna. These words stress that one should concentrate his mind upon Krishna, the very form with the two hands carrying a flute, the bluish boy with a beautiful face and peacock feathers in his hair. There are descriptions of Krishna found in the Brahma Samhita and other literatures. One should fix his mind on this original form of Godhead, Krishna. One should not even divert his attention to other forms of the Lord. The Lord has multi-forms as Vishnu, Narayana, Rama, Varaha, etc. But a devotee should concentrate his mind on the form that was present before Arjuna. Concentration of the mind on the form of Krishna constitutes the most confidential part of knowledge. This is disclosed to Arjuna because Arjuna is the most dear friend. Om Jnanatirandasya Jnananjana Salagaya Chakshurunmilidam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stabidam Yena Bhudale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadadi Sapadandigam Vandeham Shri Gurum Shri Udapadagamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajadam Sahagana Raghunadhanidam Tam Sajivam Sadhvaidam Savadudam Parijana Sahidam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalidam Shri Vishakhanidamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dhinabandhu Jagatpade Gopesha Gopika Kanda Radha Kanda Namostude Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sude Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarupasya Kripa Sindhubhyev Vacha Patidanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunatvam Sahaviryam Avahai Tejatsina Madidamastu Ma Vidushavahai Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tatsat. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So we were going through this chapter, which is titled as The Perfection of the Renunciation. So we went through quite detail the previous verses, how Krishna is summarizing the entire Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. So the essence of this chapter is the perfection of renunciation. That's where we reached up to this verse. It reveals the most confidential knowledge. So many of you know that there is a chapter in Bhagavad Gita, the most confidential knowledge. Anybody knows which chapter is that?
Chapter 9.
Chapter 9. Yes, wonderful. Thank you, Jayaprakash Prabhu. Chapter 9 is considered as the most confidential knowledge. So what is the conclusion of that most confidential knowledge? Anybody knows that? The last verse of the 9th chapter? Anybody knows the last verse of the 9th chapter? Without looking. Okay.
Manmana bhamad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mame vaishyasi atma mame vaishyasi yuktam te atma matparayana
Mame vaishyasi yuktaivam atmana matparayana. Yes, so that is, it is mentioned that the same verse also here in the 65th verse. Manmana mam bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. This is the final conclusion of the chapter 9, the most confidential knowledge. So this most confidential knowledge is nothing but the bhakti yoga. That bhakti yoga, Krishna reveals to Arjuna that similarly, Manmana bhavmad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mame vaishyasi yuktaivam atmana matparayanaha. The meaning of that, engage your mind always in thinking of me, become my devotee, offer obeisance unto me, worship me, being completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me. So the dear devotees, the same words is actually repeating here in the 65. That's what it is. Always think of me, become my devotee, worship me, and offer your homage unto me. Thus you will come to me without fail. I promise you this because you are my very dear friend. But on the 34th verse, Krishna says that, being completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me. Now here Krishna says that, surely you will come to me because you are my dear friend. So can anybody see that the relationship between the 9th to chapter 34th verse and the 18th chapter to 65th verse is exactly the similar. But only the difference is that Krishna is giving the method or the confidential knowledge to Arjuna and telling that if you practice this one, you will come to me. And here on the 65th verse, Krishna is saying that you are my dear friend, and then surely you will come to me. Why? Because of Krishna is revealing to Arjuna that you are my dear friend. So it's actually also revealing to us that, as Srila Prabhupada mentioned in the purport, that one who follows the path or the footsteps of Arjuna, one can surely reach to Krishna. So that's what it is. We come to this verse. So we know that there are previous few verses. It gives the confidential knowledge, then the more confidential knowledge, and the most confidential knowledge. Anybody remembers what is the confidential knowledge which Krishna is reveals in the previous verses? Anybody remembers?
Raja Vidya Raja Guhyam, Prabhuji. It's
That is fine. But in this chapter, previous few verses starting from 56, starting from 56 verse onwards, Krishna is revealing to Arjuna there is confidential knowledge and the more confidential knowledge, and then now we come to the most confidential knowledge. So
Brahman
what is
is
the
most confidential.
What is the confidential knowledge Krishna is revealing to Arjuna? One should come to the stage of Brahman realization. And one should come to the Brahman realization. When you come to that realization that he is situated in the stage of perfection, that is called the confidential knowledge. So how one should come to that? Focus your mind, right? And na shochati na kamshati. There is no lamentation and there is no desires. And by performing the sadhana, so that's where the sadhana bhakti comes to the picture. When person comes to the sadhana bhakti or the beginning of their, the stage of bhakti, that is the more confidential knowledge. That because of that, it's very important that one practices the sadhana or the bhakti, then he's situated in the platform of sadhana or the Brahman realization. This is the result of sadhana bhakti, or one who performs the sadhana bhakti can come to that stage of Brahman realization. Then we come to the stage. Then second, what is the more confidential knowledge? After that, the Brahman realization, Krishna is revealed to Arjuna.
Paramatma realization.
Paramatma realization. So as Krishna says that, Yandradudha, that's Krishna is revealing that the body is a vehicle. So, but the Paramatma who is seated in our heart, he controls everything. And he is the one who takes the shelter of that Supreme, then our life is saved. So that is the more confidential knowledge. So one should take the shelter, one should realize that Paramatma, one should also take the shelter of that Supreme Lord, Paramatma, who is seated in our heart. So by the sadhana bhakti, one should reach to that Brahman realization or that situate in the stage of perfection, then progress from there further, and then he would understand that the Paramatma is the Supreme and he should take the shelter of that Supreme Paramatma who is actually manifested in various incarnations, various forms, and various are seated as Paramatma in the heart. Now, in this chapter, in this verse, Krishna is revealing to Arjuna that what is that? The most confidential knowledge. Right? So the two verses which is coupled and next verse as well, these are the two most confidential knowledge which reveals Krishna as reveals, and this is the essence of entire Bhagavad Gita. So if somebody asks you in one word or one verse that can you explain what is the most significant or what is the essence of entire Bhagavad Gita, so you can answer this. The entire essence of the Bhagavad Gita or the most significant verses of Bhagavad Gita is these two, the next verse as well. So the first verse is Manmana bhav mad bhakto madhyachi mam namaskuru mame vashyasya satyam de pradijane priyosime. What is that? The most confidential knowledge. Previously, Krishna is revealing that the more confidential knowledge that, take the shelter of Paramatma, that Paramatma is manifested in various forms. But here, in this most confidential knowledge, Krishna is saying that worship me, exclusively me. that the two-handed Shyamasundara form. So none another than. This is the most confidential knowledge. That's what Bhagavad Gita is revealing. So always think of me. Become my devotee. And who is that? That's Shyamasundar, two-handed Shyamasundar form of Krishna, that who is standing before Arjuna. So this is the most confidential knowledge because he is the supreme personality of Godhead. He is the cause of all the causes, as is mentioned in the Brahma Samhita. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sarvakara. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Radhar Govinda Sarvakarana Karana. He is the cause of all the causes. So dear devotees, that from the mouth, Srila Prabhupada says that who can actually tell who is the Supreme Lord? Only Lord can say. Nobody else can say that who is the Lord. Only Krishna can tell that. Only Supreme Lord can reveal that he is the Supreme Lord. Nobody else can reveal in such a way. That's why Krishna is revealing this to Arjuna as the most confidential knowledge. Always think of me and to the everybody so that we all come to know. Always think of me. Become my devotee, worship me, and offer your homage unto me, thus you will come to me without fail. So this is, you should imprint in our heart this verse, dear devotees. We should write somewhere and you should all by heart this verse. These two verses repeating this. And you should all by heart this verse and imprint in your heart and always carry this in your heart and how I can serve the Supreme Lord. So here in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says that the most confidential part of knowledge is that one should become a pure devotee of Krishna and always think of him and act for him. So there are so many ways that we can do that, right? We are we are reaching up to on Thursday. It's Narasimha Chaturdashi. It's the appearance day of Lord Narasimha Dev. We know that why Lord appeared because of his dear devotee Prahlad, and that Prahlad Maharaj is revealing that how one can approach how one can always think of Krishna or act on behalf of him. And Prahlad Maharaj says that Sravana Kirtana, Vishnu Smarana, Pada Sevana, Archanam Vandanam, Dasyam Sakyam Atma Nivedanam. So here Krishna is revealing this technique, this method, so that we can, without fail, we can attain Krishna. So this is the secret. So how we can attain that secret in detail? So, we are all grihasthas. Some may ask this question, how is it possible that 24 hours we can always think of Krishna? How can we act 24 hours for Krishna? Or how we can situate in that stage 24 hours in Krishna? So it's very important to know that. So first of all, it's very important that how we control our mind, right? So Krishna says that always think of me. Is it possible that we can always think of Krishna? Can anybody answer? Is it possible that we can always think of Krishna?
Yes, Prabhuji.
We can join our activities with the Krishna. We can remember
Keeping Krishna in the
whatever
center.
activity we do.
We can. Yes, we can always think of Krishna. So that's very important. That's why we are doing our sadhana bhakti. We know that this is the same thing Krishna revealed to Arjuna. Arjuna, you should focus your mind. You should situate in fully in conscious of me. But then Arjuna is replying that, answer that, right? Because of my mind is unsteady. How can I do that? Arjuna is telling to Krishna that I can control the wind, but I cannot control my mind. So how is that possible? Then Krishna is revealing that, right? That abhyasa yoga yuktena vairagyechana priyade. That means by practice that you can come to that stage. That's why, dear devotees, that we all should enter into the sadhana bhakti. That only by the sadhana bhakti, sadhana means practicing devotees, sadhana, practicing devotion. So we should practice. So we should very firm on that our sadhana bhakti. And as we are all taken some vows for devotional services, and I will chant this many rounds. I would distribute books. I would engage in the service of the Lord. I would worship the deities at home. I would cook for the lordships. And I would associate with the devotees. I would invite devotees at my home. I would read the Bhagavad Gita I would listen Srimad Bhagavatam and read Bhagavatam in the morning. Evening, I would listen and Bhagavad Gita. I would read and recite Bhagavad Gita. Meantime, I would not indulge in any of these material mundane activities which divert my consciousness. So this is why, dear devotees, Srila Prabhupada established this organization called Krishna Conscious International Society for Krishna Consciousness. That means Krishna consciousness. That means all our activities dovetail towards the Krishna consciousness. Or this is the essence of Bhagavad Gita, and this is the essence of, and Srila Prabhupada took these words very seriously and established this organization so that we can always think of Krishna. So how fortunate we are. Srila Prabhupada gave this opportunity and took entire life to establish this organization. And we are all fortunate, the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. So that we can completely, that our life will be meaningful with this verse. Always think of me. So we have such a wonderful opportunity as an organization, as a Krishna conscious movement, that all we need to do is actually just be there. Just be there with our sincere devotion, sincere desire and intention, so we can completely, practically apply these verses in our life, so that we all can attain the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. So it's very important that we control our mind by sadhana. So it's very difficult. It's very difficult to overcome our mind. So as our scriptures reveals that, what is the best way to overcome our mind? Anybody knows that? What is the best way to overcome our mental, problems or mind? We know that it's not steady. It goes everywhere. Even we practice our sadhana, it goes everywhere. It's very difficult to control our mind. But are we really practicing? No, right? We are not really practicing, and many times, even after many, many years, we cannot really focus our mind. So what is the best way that we can come to that stage of pure consciousness of the Supreme Lord? Anybody knows? Anybody can now reply, answer?
When it goes in a material world, then transport back to Krishna consciousness. Keep transferring.
Transformation or transforming all our material activities and to bring Krishna in the center of all our material activities. Right? That's true. So it is not that as easy as we say, but most of the time we are all completely into our own selfish or our own material, we put ourselves in the center of all our activities. It's not that easy. So there is a simple technique. That's why we call it as mantra, right? So mantra means man, and this is the two words actually. Man or tra. Mantrayade, manatrayade idi mantra. That's why mantra is known as. Only that we can overcome our mind or mental problems are actually if we completely focus and dedicated to chant the holy name. That's why Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu revealed this most confidential secret, that in this age of Kali, the best way to overcome the mind is to chant the holy name. That's why it is called the Maha Mantra. It's not an ordinary mantra, Maha Mantra. So by this mantra, only by this holy name, this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. By this mantra, that means one can overcome the manatrayade iti. That means this is the way that one we can even that come to closer to that, very focused mind. It's very important that we come to our very focused mind. In the Yoga Sutra, Patanjali Maharshi is revealing this. There are a person, if you take a mind, there are 5 stages of mind, basically. There are 5 stages. These 5 stages are known as Shipta, Mudha, Vishipta, Egagra, and Niruddha. So why it is mentioned that there are 5 stages of mind? So we all can think ourselves which stage we are with our mind. So Shipta means, or the mind, the stage of Shipta means, or the stage of mind Shipta means is the mind of monkey or the monkey mind. So we know that the monkey is actually does not sit in one place for a long time. It jump from one branch to another branch. So like that, our mind is also like that. It moves from one, time to another, one thinking of another thinking. It always challenge, always, what is called, hanging from one branch to another, or moving from one thinking of to another, and immediately it changes. And even within splash of second, our mind changes. It's very difficult to control. And this is stage called the monkey mind, or called Shipta. The mind is which very fluctuating, very much fluctuating, and we cannot have even concentration. We cannot have the concentration. So this mind, so that, very much no focus at all. It's keep changing, keep fluctuating. So when we have this kind of mind, and if we don't have any practice, if we don't have any control over this, then what would happen? It's completely, we lost ourselves. We will lose ourselves, and we'll not have any focus on anything. We cannot even do anything. That's why so many people have their own, problems. So many problems. They cannot finish their job on time. They cannot get up on time. They always have these kinds of thoughts. They're always kind of thinking something and something, like always in chinta, something where mental, speculations and so many things. So this is the stage called Shipta, or monkey mind. Then the second mind is known as the donkey mind, or it's called the mudha, the foolish. So when they don't know, and the mind is fluctuating, and their mind is dull and lazy and sluggish, and they don't know what they are even doing. So many times they end up in doing some wrong things, and they realize later, and they are kind of, this mind is known as foolish mind, or called mudha, or the donkey mind. Then there is another mind is called the Vishipta. Vishipta means sometimes focused and sometimes it's not focused. So that means we are, sometimes it's okay, we can very energetic, and our mind is little focused, and after sometimes we come back to again in our, back to square one. That means many times, that I would chant 16 rounds today. And immediately after that, we engage in so many other material activities, or doing here and doing things here. And some days we chant, some days, our chanting is not so good. Sometimes our chanting is so focused, sometimes it's not. So what happens? Usually, then we lose the focus, and then our mind is gradually then start to fed up, and then we lose the taste of chanting and all. Even if some days we develop that the taste of the chanting, but some days we lose it because of it goes back to again into the dull and lazy and not focused. So this is called the stage of Vishipta, or sometimes focused, sometimes it's not focused. Then Patanjali Maharshi also reveals that there is another stage is called Ekagra. So when one person is completely under mind, under his body, his senses, or mind are under his control. When his body, senses, and mind are under his control, and then he comes to that stage is known as called Ekagra. That means he's focused. When he is focused, when he speak, when we do something, he's very focused. When his activities, when he performs, he's very focused. And when he does, when we talk, he's very focused. Then we can see such people. They accomplish so many things in this world. They achieve so many things even within short period of time. Even, some people can take 2 years to do things. Some people take just 2 months to do things. And they're very, very, organized. Very much. Why? Because of their focused. Their mind is very much focused in certain things, not diverted in so many things. Some people's mind are diverted in so many things. And at the end of the day, think, what did I do? So this is the condition of certain mind. But when an Ekagra, very focused, and then there can be a lot of achievement and accomplishments in our life. So this is what it is called Ekagra. And we know that when we chant the holy name, unless we come to this stage Ekagra, then we don't develop that taste, or we cannot overcome this mind. So when there is a mind of Mudha, when there is a mind of Shipta, when there is a mind of Vishipta, or this, donkey mind, or the monkey mind, or this sometimes, focus, sometimes not focus, we cannot really come to that stage of, as Krishna says, that, the pure devotion, or the most confidential knowledge we cannot attain. We do not taste the, taste the holy name and chanting of the holy name. We cannot. So we have to come to this stage. Unless and until we come to the stage of Ekagra, we cannot even come to that stage of this pure devotional platform. Then another stage is called, beyond this stage is called Niruddha. Niruddha is called the transcendental mind. So this transcendental mind also, Krishna is also using the another word called Arudha. Arudha means the topmost. This is like Niruddha, means the topmost or the transcend. We can transcend our mind. So this is what is exactly Krishna is revealing, dear devotees, that one should come to the first, the mind should be focused. And then once the mind is focused, then we can come to that, we can overcome that. This is called a mantra. This is the meaning of mantra. One should overcome all the obstacles of the mind, all the problems of the mind, all the instabilities of the mind by focusing and controlling our body, senses, and mind, completely control. Then we engage into the devotional service. That's where, when we come to that stage, Ekagra, then we engage in the loving devotional service. Then we come to that pure devotional platform. This is the most confidential knowledge. So then only we can always think of Krishna. So where we start from it? So it starts from our sadhana bhakti. So in that sadhana bhakti, the most important aspect and factor for the sadhana bhakti is chanting of the holy name. And how we should chant the holy name? We should attentively chant. As Srila Prabhupada says that, many times it's mentioned that, Srila Prabhupada mentioned that the best of the time of the day is the early morning. So when a person start to chant, practice the sadhana in the early morning, so he gets up in that early morning, it's very quiet, very peaceful, and no much disturbances, no much mental, the daily routines that doesn't disturb. So get up in the morning and sit. And, after brushing the mouth and teeth and, cleaning yourself or taking bath, whatever. And then you sit and chant. This way we can focus our mind. So that's why it's recommended that always the best time, the Brahma Muhurta time, that is, Brahma Muhurta time is 1.5 hours before the sunrise. If one get up in the Brahma Muhurta time, 1.5 hours before the sunrise, and start to chant the holy name, then one can, some extent, we can focus our mind. And if we practice this, if we practice every day with the determination, with the dedication, and I would wake up, I get up every day and I would chant this holy name, then what would happen? We can come to that, the very focused mind, or that come to the Ekagra manas. So this is what is exactly Krishna is revealing by practice. So then we can overcome my mind with this chanting of the Maha Mantra. This is the way we can focus and we can very attentive. And many, many times our devotees reveals that when they attentively chant in the morning, their entire day is very fresh and there is no much thoughts, other thoughts won't come into the mind. You can experience this, or you can think that if you chant the holy name in the morning very attentively, and then you go out and worship in anything that you do, your mind is so focused and very attentive and very fresh, and you will not, it's create a barricade for our mind. It's create a block in our mind that nothing can penetrate. No other thoughts, no other unwanted thinking, no more other unwanted desires even come to our mind. It's very focused and very, very, very peaceful and happy. Only this focused mind can have the peacefulness. Otherwise, we will not have this peacefulness. Unless we have the peace, we cannot get the bhakti. As Krishna says that, Evam prasanna manaso Bhagavad bhakti yogadaga Bhagavad tattva gignasa mukta sangasya jayad. Evam prasanna manaso Bhagavad bhakti yogada. Unless and until our mind is peaceful and steady, and we cannot have this bhakti, Bhagavad bhakti yogada, we cannot come to this, this most confidential part of this, the bhakti. So it's very important that by our practice sadhana, it's very important that we get up in the morning and we start to chant. And how do we chant? We should sit very straight and chant and very focused, one point focused attention on chanting. And how we should chant that holy name? We should hear the holy name. We should hear the holy name very properly. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And also Srila Prabhupada recommended that if those who are beginners or the sadhakas, those who are just started this chanting of the holy name, so it's very difficult to control the mind. So after some time when we chant, even if it is difficult. So for beginners, Srila Prabhupada mentioned that, recommended that, so who can actually focus on Krishna or focus on Krishna's pastimes while chanting the holy name. So this is the way that we start to focus. We get to come to that ekagra, that the full focus or concentration on the chanting, and then we chant that 16 rounds, almost takes hour and a half. Then by practicing, daily practice of this one, dear devotees, we can come out from all this material entanglement, or all the material impurities, we can come out. And this is proven. And we know that so many initially, so many disciples of Srila Prabhupada, they were all going through the drugs and, all these intoxications. Didn't have, their mind was going one day here, one day here, one day here. But they took very fully the instructions of Srila Prabhupada. They started to chant. They get up in the morning, they attend the Mangalarati. Immediately after attending the Mangalarati, they start to chant, sit and chant very attentively and focus. And within few months, and it's not much time, within no much time, they all become very pure devotees. So they now completely, even they say something, they cannot even meet eating or any illicit or intoxications, they're completely free from all of it. So we all can come to that stage. This is where the mantra would help. This is what Krishna is revealing to us. This is what is the essence of the Krishna consciousness. So if one is actually focused at this mind, and that's the time only that we can always think of Krishna. Then when we come to that stage, and this is the stage, then we develop that taste or attachment for Krishna. When we come and develop that attachment for Krishna, then nothing is more important than Krishna. Nothing is more important. Like, just, dear devotees, just practice this. Every day you chant and then you go to work. And there are so many disturbances, so many things come to us. But we think that, no, this is not important for, I would not indulge in any of those other activities or eating anything which is not offered to Krishna, or go out and hanging with the friends and talking unnecessarily, prajalpa and all those things. We will be situate and concentrate and focus and situate ourselves in such a way that, I am situated in this Krishna conscious platform. So we naturally come to that stage. So this is what it is, how we can always think of Krishna. So this is practically possible. So how? By our practice and focus, and by regular practice and the focus, we can come to that stage, the stage of always we can be conscious of Krishna, and that we can feel that we are situated in the spiritual platform or spiritual realm. Then next one, Krishna is saying that become my devotee. Become my devotee. So naturally, when develop such a sadhana, such a love for Krishna, then he will naturally become the devotee, and then offer your homage unto me. And that's why Sri Prahlad Maharaj is revealing that. So this is the way that when the soul starts from that Shravanam and Kirtana. So we should hear Shravana Kirtana Vishnu Smarana. Always think of me. That's a Vishnu Smarana that Prahlad Maharaj is revealing that. So Shravana Kirtana Vishnu Smarana, from the Shravana, that from the hearing from the right sources and authorities from the scripture, we come to that stage of Kirtana. From the Kirtana, only that we can come to the stage of Vishnu Smarana, or the consciousness of the Supreme Lord. So here in these verses, that the most confidential part of it, one should always focus on that 200 Krishna, the Shyamasundara form. We know that when Krishna was revealed this form to Arjuna, initially Arjuna wanted to see Krishna's, the universal form. So as soon as Arjuna saw Krishna's universal form, then Arjuna became perplexed and frightened with seeing that form. He cannot focus. Arjuna was trembling with the fear. Arjuna was falling down. Arjuna was, talking that which is, that from the fear. So nobody can focus like that. So that's what is, many people, then they focus on the Brahman, they cannot focus. They cannot come to this stage of it. Only by devotees, only by bhakti yogis can come to this stage. So then Arjuna was revealing Krishna that, please show me, please, suppress everything and please show me your original form. So then Krishna came to this 400 form, and then Krishna also showed to Arjuna that the original form of Krishna and Shyamasundara form. And Krishna told that this is my original form and nobody has seen this before. And this I am revealing to you, this is my original 200 form. So there is no doubt that why Krishna is revealing that, so that others should not have any doubt that, okay, there is 400 form is higher than, superior than the 200 form, or this universal form is more superior than this 200 form, like that. So Krishna has revealed that 200 form. So that's why Krishna is revealing this to Arjuna, that one should worship me with this always thinking and worshipping and homage, offer the homage unto Krishna. That's what is exactly that Prahlad Maharaj is also revealing. Sravana, Kirtana, Vishnu Smaranam, and Pada Sevanam. Once come to that stage of by hearing and chanting of the holy name and thinking of the Lord and thinking of Krishna, then come to that stage of Pada Sevanam. That means we should engage into the devotional service. That's what is worship. Engage into the devotional service. That's called, Krishna is revealing here, worship. And Pada Sevanam, Archanam, that is what it is called. And Archanam, Vandanam, offer the obeisances, homage, like that. Archanam, Vandanam, Dasya, like, always servitorship. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu revealed that we are all the Dasa, Dasanudasa, because of the Krishna is most dear to such devotees, one who serve the devotees of the Lord. One who serves not directly to Krishna. Krishna reveals that one who serves the devotees of the Lord is most dear to Krishna because of he has taken that such a humble position. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has revealed this most confidential knowledge, and the technique of that how one can become most dear to Krishna is that always be a servant of the devotees of the Lord. That's why Srila Prabhupada, when initiate somebody in this Krishna consciousness, that Srila Prabhupada put this, Ananda Das, or Sri Krishna Das, Devaki Nandan Das, or Madhubadi Das, like that Das. And is having a title, we are Das of everybody. Not only that, every living entity we are Das. We are the servants of each and every other living entity. That is the meaning of Das, not that just Das for some few people. And, we say Das and Das. We are the, servants of the devotees. So devotees as well as all the other living, we hit that why we should have that very humble position that we should take. So then only that Dasya, this is the Dasya Bhav. That means you are ready to serve, ready to give service to everyone, ready to serve the devotees of the Lord, ready to serve anytime. This is called the Dasya, the definition of Dasya. Not that, because our conditions, okay, I would do only this service. I would go only service on this time. I would do only in this particular service I like. I won't do service to this devotee. I would do only service to the, seniors, so that, I get some appreciation, I get some name and fame and things like that. So I won't do any other service if somebody else says. I would, always this kinds of attitude. These are all settled. This shows that we are not in that pure devotional platform. So here Dasya means to serve everybody, without any consideration, without any kinds of, regards, that we should try to ready to serve everybody with that I'm serving the Lord and the devotees. Dasyam, then Sakyam, that's here Arjuna. And Krishna is revealing, because you are my dear friend and you are surely come to me. So dear devotees, we all can have this, establish this rasa or relationship with the Krishna. One can establish this relationship with Dasya, then one can be friend with the Krishna. Or there are so many incidents, and we know that there are some devotees, they say, okay, Krishna, you are my friend. You are my friend, and I am your friend, and you are my friend. And many devotees says this to Krishna. And in our ISKCON, some devotees, I was hearing from some others, they consider Krishna as their friend. And whatever they get, they talk to Krishna. Whatever they bring to Krishna. And like Krishna, in the many times, in the many temples, they say Krishna as their friend. So this is called rasa. This is called that rasa that we can establish with Krishna. Then the another one, Sakyam, then Valsalya rasa. That means one can become the parentals or parenthoods of Krishna. So they treat Krishna as their child. So it's all possible. So then how? Because of then Krishna receives that service from them. And Krishna likes to have service from them like that. So the parenthood, then there are so many examples out there. Then we know that pretty much everybody's house, has this Laddu Gopalji. So how the Laddu Gopal, they treat Krishna as their child. It's a Gopalji, little child, baby Krishna. So many houses have baby Krishna. They offer that, treat like a Krishna is their baby. Krishna is like a small child. So how beautiful it is. This is only possible that, in our Krishna consciousness. So when one becomes Krishna conscious, this one develop this taste and then establish a relationship with Krishna, in that possible Krishna is ready to receive such services from such devotees. Then we come to that stage of, prema. That's why says that dasyam sakyam, then atma nivedana. So next two words is revealing that atma nivedana. So one has to fully surrender unto Krishna. So these two verses actually very, very important, and this is the essence of Bhagavad Gita, and one should understand the importance of that, how one can become completely become pure devotee of Krishna. So that is our goal. It's not that okay, I can attain the Golok Vrindavan so that I can free from my old material entanglements and suffering and misery, so that I can be live there peacefully, nicely. No, that's not pure devotion. That is sakam karma, that's with the desires. But akama, there is no desires, but only that love, that the pure devotion. Why we have to come to that stage of pure devotion? Because of this is the ultimate platform of, this is the ultimate stage of all the living entity, ultimate state of all the living entity, that come to the platform of pure devotion, the pure love, pure loving devotion service unto the Krishna. So this is the essence of all the scriptures, and this is the essence of this chapter. This is the essence of entire Bhagavad Gita. One has to come and understanding the importance and understanding who is the Supreme Lord, as also here it is Krishna is revealing that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the two-handed form. So dear devotees, that we have so many wonderful opportunities. Srila Prabhupada gave us this beautiful, beautiful organization and establishment, and we all have wonderful opportunities to associate with and chant. And many devotees are initiated. Many devotees are in the path of initiation and in progress and association of devotees. So many opportunities. All we need to do is actually, devoid of all these unwanted diseases, unwanted things which makes us away from Krishna. So always, and as Krishna is revealing here, we should have that practice of always thinking of Krishna. That means we should bring Krishna in our center of our life, not our family members or the celebrities. Many houses talk so much about their celebrities, and they spend so much of time for so many other things, but Krishna is not there. It's very important that we bring Krishna in our center of our life. That, as we always say, that if we bring the one in front of all the zeros, it has a huge value. But if that one is not there, it is all bunches of zeros. Like that, we should have Krishna in our center of our life. Then everything will become so valuable and so wonderful. And with this note, I would end here. Thank you so much for being here. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, this is Surya. I have a question.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. How are you?
I'm doing good, Prabhuji.
Sure.
Sorry, I couldn't join yesterday and
No
going
problem.
through something.
No
Yeah,
problem.
this was important verse. 18.65 is most important, most confidential knowledge.
Yeah.
So you mentioned about Patanjali and the 7 stages to control mind.
Yeah.
But Krishna himself says in chapter 6 that it's very difficult to control mind, Arjuna. So he does touches about dhyana yoga, but he basically says it's very tough.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying he does not prescribe Arjuna that, but he says that bhakti yoga is much better, or
Oh yeah.
right.
Yeah,
So
very much.
you mentioned about the controlling of mind, and our mind remains monkey in this particular world. So is that the only the Mahamantra will eventually make you towards dhyana yoga without our knowledge?
I mean, I'm trying to understand your question. That means you are saying that is there any other mantra which will control the mind and then come to the
No.
stage of dhyana? Or?
No, I mean to say I cannot practice yoga or dhyana yoga, what people call yoga on outside, all that, right? They're talking about dhyana yoga, they're talking about Patanjali's principles and all
Okay.
that.
Let me clarify that. Why I mentioned that, I'm not mentioning that we should do the Ashtanga yogas or those yogas. But what I was trying to say, that different stages of our mind, that only that mind we can control with our this Maha Mantra or this our sadhana bhakti.
Mm.
So yes, there are many other yogas there that they practice, but it's for their, physical purposes or their material benefits.
Correct.
But when we practice, as Krishna says that in the 6th chapter, even in the last verse of 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, yoginam abhi sarvesho madgadenderatmana shraddhavan bhajade yo mam samam yukta tamo madaha. That means the yogi, out of all the yogis, one who keep me in his heart. Yoginam abhi sarvesho. I mean, all these yogis, one who worship me in his heart. Madgadenderatmana. One who is keeping me in his heart and worship me. He is the yogi amongst all the yogis of the yogis. That is his opinion. So I was mentioning that these are the different stages that Patanjali was mentioned about the different stages of mind. So, but one can control this mind only by this, our sadhana bhakti or the mantra. So with this Maha Mantra is the best because of Krishna is right there in the Maha Mantra. So we don't need to search anywhere else. So the entire ocean is right there. Then why we want to go and search for a small well to get the water? So the Krishna is in the mantra, the Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Krishna is there that in the form, and Krishna's name and form are not different from Krishna himself. And name and paraphernalia is not different from Krishna himself. So one who chants this Maha Mantra, practices sadhana, that is the best yoga. That's called bhakti yoga, other than all the other yogas. So yes, if you practice some yogas, you can come to some stages. You can come to the stage of ekagra, focus. And I used to do when I was a child, just try to focus my mind, looking at a very single point, and it helps some extent. But this here it is mentioned is that how one can attentively and focus, always think of Krishna. So only when we can always think of Krishna by practice our sadhana bhakti and chanting of the holy name very attentively and very focused. And then we come to that stage of, then Krishna, will make that arrangement and he will situate in our heart. And then we can completely, that Krishna will make the arrangement. We can always conscious of Krishna. We can always think of Krishna because of this gives that such a potency also for us. It purifies our heart. And this is the way we can overcome our mind. That's the meaning of mantra. Yeah, that's what I was trying to explain.
Okay, Prabhuji. Just one follow-up question.
Sure.
Like while explaining Karma Yoga in 3.20, he gives examples of Janaka and others.
Yeah.
Like for Bhakti Yoga, did Krishna give an example or names? I don't recall the verse. For the Bhakti Yoga, who he told Arjuna that someone attained Bhakti Yoga from this means.
Krishna says that. He says that Vidaraga Bhaya Krodha Manmanam Vasrada Bhagavo Jnana Tapasa Bhuda Madbhava Magadaha. Krishna says in not directly like putting in names like that. Krishna says into the 4th chapter, Vidaraga Bhaya Krodha, devoid of attachment and anger and the greed, Vidaraga Bhaya Krodha. Manmana Mamupasuda, Manmana. He took me in his heart and upasada, the same words which we revealed today. Manmana Mamupasada, Bhagavo. That means many. Bhagavo Jnana Tapasa, by this attentive, very attentive Jnana, by the knowledge, by very much focused attention, Bhuta Madbhava Magadaha, he come to me. And also Krishna says into the another side, Bahunam Janmanam Ande Jnanavan Mam Pravartate, Vasudevam Sarvabhidi Saha Mahatma Sudurlabha. It's also that such a devotee is very Sudurlabha. It's not that, millions, but very rare, such devotees. Like that, many are there, but very rare that such devotees. Bahunam Janmanam Ande, after many lifetimes, Bahunam Janmanam Ande Jnanavan Mam Pravartate. Vasudevam Sarvamedi. What is that Vasudeva? That Vasudeva Krishna. That's what Krishna is revealing here. That two-handed Krishna form, that myself, Shyamasundara form. Vasudevam Sarvamedi Samahatma Sudurlabha. And also, yes, not mention directly any name, but we can see that from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, there are so many devotees, and even in Chaitanya Charitamrita, even in the case of, Haridas Thakur, and in how many devotees, how many names are there in the Bhagavatam that attains. Even Prahlad Maharaj, the Lord himself came to him. And, Dhruva Maharaj, and, so many devotees and examples out there. I mean, why Krishna is mentioned, Janak Maharaj and all the Karma Yoga? Because they became perfect in their activities. But they, Bhakti Yoga is only for the pure devotees, one who has unalloyed devotion. Ahetuhi apradihada, yadatma suprasidada, one who has unconditional, unmotivated, and uninterrupted devotional service to Krishna, they will definitely attain Krishna. Yeah, so there is no direct names Krishna mentioned because of such devotees are very sudurlabha. That means not very rare, actually. Yes.
Very rare. Okay. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Very nice presentation.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Anybody else has anything to add? Any questions? Any comments? Any reflections? Please go ahead. These are beautiful words.
If no one has other, I think what is Gopi's love and devotion that they ended up in Goloka Vrindavan?
Wow, that's beautiful. That's wonderful. Yes, that is the utmost and the topmost of all. That is the prema bhav. Well, the beyond that. As he says that adosradha, sadhu sangha, bhajana kriya, anartha navurti, nishta, ruchi, then bhava, then prema. Asakti, nishta, ruchi, and bhava, and then prema bhakti. So the gopis, that's unparalleled. We cannot compare their devotion, love for Krishna is unparalleled, that we cannot compare with anything in this material world. So as we know that when, Krishna, even it was mentioned that Uddhava, Krishna was revealing to Uddhava, also Krishna was revealing this Narada. Then it was mentioned like this, when, Narada Devi came to Krishna and asked, who is your most pure devotee of the Lord? Who is your most, topmost devotee? Then Krishna said that Krishna just made a prick and plan that, to find out. Krishna told Narada, you find out, who is the top. So Narada Devi initially went to, Indra. Narada thought that Indra is, because Indra got that position, Indra is a very pure devotee. So then Indra said, no, I am not the devotee. Go to Yamaraj. Yamaraj went to Yamaraj, said, no, I am not a devotee, and things like that. So finally came back and then couldn't find out, who is the topmost devotee. So then this time Krishna said to Narada Dev that, please go ahead and, I have a headache. Only I can be cured by the dust from the pure devotee's lotus feet. You can, go and find, and so that you can get this dust from the feet from the pure devotees of the Lord. So again, Narada Dev went. Indra asked, can I get the dust from you? No. Then Indra said, no, the dust from my feet, that will, I can incur sin, I can go to hell, and so many conditions. Went to, different, even went to Brahma, even went to many other, even, went even to the, Mother Lakshmi, and even went all these places, different places, even went to Shiva, and everybody said, how can I give the dust from my feet that to put on the forehead of the Krishna? I would incur this sin, and actually likes that. So then Narada Dev then passing through Vrindavan, and so that gopis were there, and Narada Dev was understood that, gopis were also devotees of Krishna. So Narada Dev came there and, and mentioned to gopis that, the Krishna has a headache, and the only cure is actually, the dust from, the dust from your feet, from your feet. So then as soon as they heard that Krishna has a headache, and they didn't think anything else, whether they go to hell, whether they have incurred sin, they will suffer for all this, active act. And then they immediately started to scratch the dust from their feet and then gave to Narada. Narada brought this to the, Dwaraka. So this time Krishna was smiling, and when Asuna see, you went to everybody and, they, you were asking for this dust and all this. They say they are the devotees of the Lord, devotees of the Supreme Lord, but they were still hesitating to give this when Krishna had a headache. And they were hesitating because they were thinking, I will end up in hell and I cannot do this. That's disrespecting Krishna and all those things. So, but here when it comes to the gopis, they were ready to go to hell. They were ready to suffer any distress, any miseries, and anything that which comes to that. They were not thinking anything else. But as soon as they heard Krishna has a headache, they didn't think anything else. They just gave that dust to the Krishna. So then, now you understand, Narada, who is the pure devotee. So this is called the pure devotion. How the gopis reach up to that stage, because of they have this savai pumsha paro dharma yadorakti bhakti radokshaje ahetu hi apradihada edatma suprasi. They have uninterrupted, they have unmotivated, they have unconditional love for Krishna. So when Krishna and Balaram were in the forest, these gopis, Krishna sent it to Balaram and the other devotees, go and ask food for, we are hungry. So as soon as they came and they were doing the yajna, sacrifices for the Lord, and they came and asked this, Krishna is there in the forest and he is hungry, can I get some food? They asked for this, all the Prabhujis there and Purohits there. They said, go away, we are doing this sacrifice for all this. And you go away, you come back after some time, and things like that. Then Krishna told to the friends, go and ask for all the gopis there. So as soon as they came and mentioned that Krishna is hungry, and immediately they didn't think, they cooked all this food for the yajna and all the sacrifices. They didn't think anything. They just gave all this to the friends and gave to Krishna. So Krishna is hungry. Then as soon as they gave, so immediately Krishna, they brought back to Krishna. So Krishna is mentioned. This is all in Srimad Bhagavatam. So look at that. So when we say the Lord, we have so many conditions, right? We have so many conditions. Only after our conditions are met, we are happy, we are satisfied our life. Then what happens? We all think, about Krishna. But gopis, the love for the gopi for Krishna, the pure love for gopi, for Krishna, is entirely different. It's ultimately the supremost. And we know that how the topmost of the devotee is Srimati Radharani. And thinking of that feeling of separation, the moment, somebody say Krishna is not there, and she would faint down. She would fall down with, unconscious. And this is the love they express for the Krishna. So that's where the pure devotion, that's they were exhibiting. And that's where they all reached up to the direct service for Krishna and became very intimate for Krishna. And they reached that, the pure, that supreme bhav. That's why one who has that, the prema, the prema bhav, bhav bhakti or prema bhakti, they would attract Krishna. That's called Sri Krishna Akarshani. They would attract immediately. That devotion will attract Krishna. Krishna cannot then separate from them. So when somebody has that pure loving devotion for Krishna, exclusive devotion, then that would attract Krishna. Then Krishna cannot separate from them. This is what is Krishna was. This is the pastimes of Krishna and the Gopas and the Gopis and the Radharanis and all of this, because of their exclusive, extreme loving devotion to Krishna. Krishna cannot separate from them. Yeah,
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you for such a beautiful question. Yes. That's the highest stage of, that's the perfection, and that's the stage of that one who always be with Krishna, in his loving devotion. And has to come to that stage, that's a pure devotion. That pure devotion is nothing but only Krishna. Nothing else is important than Krishna. Jai, Murdananda Prabhu raised his hand. Thank you, Prabhuji. Please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandvat.
Hare
All
Krishna,
praise to Srila
all
Prabhupada.
praise to Srila Prabhupada.
Thank you, Prabhu, for the class. Very nice. So it's said that, the confidential, more confidential, and most confidential. The
Right.
Brahman, then we have Paramatma, and then Bhagwan.
Right.
So first is the dhyana stage, which brings you to Brahman
Yep.
level
Yes.
and the spirit soul. Then with jnana, we get to the Paramatma, the super soul. So what is it that will, it's bhakti, right? Which will bring you to the Bhagwan realization.
Correct.
So all these three is encapsulated just in the Mahamantra. So when we chant the Mahamantra, it automatically includes the dhyana. We are concentrating on listening to it.
Yes.
Everything is revealed. The
Yep.
entire purport of all scriptures.
Yep.
And then that loving thing happens as you were explaining. So that's the correct understanding, Prabhu, of
That is correct.
Mahamantra and the three stages.
Yes. Of course, yes. Mahamantra, it is as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that Namna Makari Nija Sarva Shaktim Tatrapida Niyamida Smaranena Kalaha. See, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Krishna is invested all the potencies in the Mahamantra. Namna Makari Nija Sarva Shakti. Invested all the Nija Sarva Shakti, invested in the mantra, the holy name, Sri Krishna, this Hare Krishna Mahamantra. There is a Sachinandan Swami, he is actually compiled a book about just the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. It's kind of this much big of this book, just how the different ways of, and it's mentioned that this mantra is surpasses at, this is the essence of everything. Everything is there in this mantra. The form is there is pastime is there in this mantra. We can also reveal our own Sarup, and it can reveal our own service to Krishna. It can reveal our own, the degree of the devotion with Krishna. Everything can be revealed just by chanting this holy name. How? Because of how we take this holy name, how much sincere, how much dedication, determination, and we have the chanting of the holy name. We know that, right? Srila Haridas Thakur was chanting this holy name, and Haridas Thakur cannot even stop chanting of the holy name because of the taste which Haridas Thakur developed. So initially, the sadhana bhakti, yes, we go with these rules and regulations, and we try to chant very attentively and very determined and very focused. And then some point of time, we overcome our mind. Then we come to this transcendental platform. This is what is called that Niruddha stage. We come to the transcendental platform. In that transcendental platform, this book is revealing that one can even enter into the pastimes of the Lord. And naturally, he enters into the abode, the transcendental realm, and he completely forgets himself. He's chanting and he completely enters into the transcendental pastimes of the Lord. In that transcendental pastimes, and Krishna, and also he reveals himself, what is his service, what is his identity, what is his name, even into the spiritual abode with Krishna, everything. So then, naturally he develops that, he surpasses everything. And when a person in that stage of complete that, the realized the Supreme Lord, enters into that, the very physical, intimate relationship he established with the Krishna, then what is this jnana? What is this yoga? This all kind of what, the lower stages of it. He surpasses all those. Bhakti, the pure love, goes beyond all those, goes beyond the jnana, goes beyond this self-realization or this, Paramatma realization. But now he's a pure spiritual, identity. He has a pure spiritual identity, and he has that pure relationship with the Krishna in the eternal abode with the Krishna. That's what. So by our chanting, our sincere endeavor, sincere devotion, sincere chanting of the holy name, sincerely, every day, without fail, with that determination, with that focused, and he would develop, that's why, the ruchi would develop that taste of chanting the holy name. And then he would, completely relish that, the nectar of holy name, Nam Purush, and then the Krishna would come in front of that devotee because of as devotees chanting that, being with Krishna, and then Krishna, and it goes beyond it goes beyond and it comes to that transcendental platform, then that attracts Krishna. That attracts Krishna, and Krishna would come. And then he would also completely, induce into that transcendental plane and, and engage in the pastimes of Krishna. Yes, this is everything is. That's why Nama Chindamani Krishna Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purna Shuddho Nitya Bhukto Bhinnatam Nama Namino. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu reveals this. Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha, right? Nama Chindamani Krishna. This holy name of Krishna is Nama Chindamani Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha. This is full of potency and full of mellows, rasa, and he's full of that person, Vigraha. That Supreme Lord is there. It's not that just the holy name, but this is Krishna himself. Purna Shuddho, it purifies everything, and all the impurities purified. Purna Shuddho, Nitya Mukta, and even one who is Sadhaka Bhakti is liberated anyway. And Bhakti and Mukti is actually subservient of this chanters, this sadhakas. But then think about that one who comes to that stage of bhava and prema, such a pure love for Krishna by chanting of this holy name. And as it says that none of the other process is more effective than this chanting of the holy name. One who chants this attentively and everything follows, everything else follows the chanting of the holy name. So all these other services, all the other devotion, all the homage, all the worship, all the realization, all these rasas, everything follows this chanting of the holy name. If a devotee chants his holy name sincerely, attentively, and focus, and some point of time he comes to that Niruddha stage, transcend everything, and then he enters into that. So, that's why when Haridas Thakur was just, about to leave this planet, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came directly and took hold of the lotus feet of Sri Haridas Thakur and put on his Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's chest. And Haridas Thakur was just staring at the eyes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and just left the body, looking at the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Haridas Thakur was completely with the Lord, and Lord was understanding all this. Yeah, this is the there's so many ways that this book is revealing that the importance of and each mantra and each syllable. And it is mentioned that, the chanting of the mantra is when one who reaches to that level of pure transcendence, he could see that there are 108 gopis. These beads are 108 gopis. Krishna is in the middle, and then 8 gopis in the middle. And this sadhaka, this chanter, is also there into this, Rasa Leela. It goes beyond that. And it's not easy that one can even, go and enter into this Leela of Krishna. It's very rare. And nobody, even Narada couldn't enter into it. Even Lakshmi couldn't enter. Even Lord Shiva couldn't enter into it. But here, a sadhaka can enter into it. Why? Because of he completely dedicated, completely surrendered, and completely focuses everything, to Krishna. There are so many examples there were in Vrindavan. Many sannyasis, even this was Srinivasa Acharya. Srinivasa Acharya was meditating and chanting the holy name. And all of a sudden, he entered into the trance. And everybody was trying to see that, his 3 days he was in that same trance. And then everybody was touching the nose, whether, life is still there. They realized that, yes, little breathing is there. And then he put a leaf and it is moving. So third day, Srinivasa Acharya just came out from this and said, I found it. So everybody was so much surprised to see this and asked Srinivasa Acharya, what was it? So Srinivasa Acharya said, and then came to the consciousness and said, I entered into the pastimes of Srimati Radharani, and they were doing this water pastime in the lake, in the Sarovar, and all of a sudden the nose ring of Radharani fell into the water, and everybody was searching and searching and searching, and I was also searching, and I couldn't find out. I was kept searching, and I found it, and that's where this time the 3 days were passed by this, just searching it. So like that, there are so many incidents like that with the, devotees, they enters into that. And that Dada Shyam Sundar deity in Sri Vrindavan Dham, this was actually Shyamananda Pandit. Shyamananda Pandit, even just by the service of the Lord, could enter into the abode of Srimati Radharani. So they were all exalted devotees like, Manjaris and, gopis and various, other incarnations anyway. So, it's possible. It reveals everything, and everything reveals. Then when it comes to that stage of pure devotion, then everything else is, less significant. Jnana, yoga, Ashtanga yoga or anything. Everything is revealed. Yeah, that's why they say that our Roop, our Satchidananda Roop, or spiritual form itself is full of knowledge. He can understand everything, full of knowledge. Satchit Anand. Chit means full of knowledge and potency. Is it okay, Broji, or is it still not clear?
Very nice, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for such a wonderful, realization. Good question. So nice. Okay. Anybody else? Anybody would like to add anything? Any other comments? Okay. Any reflections, anybody, before we conclude? Okay. So thank you so much, dear devotees. And tomorrow also very, very important. That's the 66th verse. It's a very powerful verse. And always we should imprint these two verses in our heart. If you try to by heart these verses, it's wonderful. And Thursday is the Narasimha Chaturdashi, the most auspicious day. Today is also very auspicious day of Rukmini Dwadashi, the appearance day of Mother Rukmini. The Mother Rukmini is none other than there is a book which published by Sri Rupa Goswami, that in that book is revealed that the Mother Rukmini was the one of the gopi from the Vrindavan pastime. Then when Krishna moved to Dwaraka, then Mother Rukmini took that form. So this is mentioned that, the Chandravali, Mother Rukmini is Chandravali, and Satyabhama is Srimati Radharani. Like that. So Satyabhama is Srimati Radharani, and Mother Rukmini is Chandravali. So they took, appeared in the Dwaraka, and then that Krishna, then again, Mother Rukmini became the first consort, of the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. So this is the appearance day of today, and so it's very nice. We remember the Mother Rukmini. Also mentioned that Mother Rukmini is also Lakshmi Devi, and in the Vasudeva form. And Vrindavan Krishna never leaves Vrindavan. So Vrindavan Krishna is there. And when Krishna came to Dwaraka, it's Vasudeva Krishna. And in that Vasudeva Krishna, then Chandravali came as Mother Rukmini, also Lakshmi Devi is also there as Krishna's. So that's the significance of today. And there's so much of Rukmini Dwarakadesh, and the Pandharpur is actually Rukumai, Rukmini, Pandharnath. Rukmini Pandharnath, Rukumai, and so many, temples out there, and the pastimes of Krishna and Mother Rukmini, so beautiful, so wonderful. Okay. So Thursday is Narasimha Chaturdashi, the appearance day of Lord Narasimhadev. Is wonderful, the Leela of Krishna, the Supreme Lord. That's Leela Avatar, or the Leela of Krishna, the Lord Narasimhadev. That's on Thursday, and we will fast from complete fasting till dusk, till sunset, and then we have program at the temple. There will be elaborate Narasimha Yajna, and we would humbly request, if you have not sponsored the Narasimha Yajna, please do so. There's a wonderful opportunity to be part of that wonderful Narasimha Homa. This gives a lot of, as it's mentioned, that one of our main problem is focus. So by praying to Lord Narasimhadev, and he would remove all the bhakti vikna vinashana. That's what it is. Bhakti means one focused attention of Krishna. Our obstacles are so much our own problems, of the mental problems. So when we pray to Supreme Lord Narasimhadev, he removes all the obstacles from our heart. And that's also Bhakti Vigna Vinashana Sri Narasimhadev Bhagavan. So please join. So this way.
Oh, what time is the yajna starting?
Just start around 7 probably.
7?
Yeah.
Okay.
7 is actually, then we will start to prepare everything. Sharp 7 will be Gaura Arti, and sharp 7:30 the yajna will start.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Because of the Rukmini Dwadashi, the best quality of Rukmini Devi is like by just hearing, she fell in love with Krishna and she finally got married with him. So like that also, every day we hear the glories of Krishna every day, since morning to night.
Yeah.
One day we can also achieve Krishna.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
The hearing is the most important. That's why hearing is so important. By hearing only that we develop our love for Krishna. So that's why, insisting that we should, whenever there is an opportunity, we should not miss it. Hearing after.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you so much. You spent about 1 hour. Let me take 1 minute as a token of gratitude. It is a wonderful class, Prabhu. So in Vedas, as it said, Badram Karane, like listen properly, see properly, think properly, talk properly. So all those Veda mantras are 100% justified in this conversation. So yeah, it is amazing by listening this wonderful pastimes of Krishna, and it is also a great opportunity for us, for me. So yeah, thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. Such a nice realization. Very good. Okay, so let's conclude today's session, and please join. And as is Bhagavad, Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, all this reveals this transcendental science, this transcendental knowledge, and gives us that such a wonderful in-depth of knowledge that how we can, what we are, and how we can achieve, and we can attain this pure devotional platform. That's a perfection. That's our purpose of life. Don't waste, as he says that, Prahlad Maharaj says that this Manusha Janmam, very rare, Sudurlabha, very rare that one gets this human form of life, and it's not to be wasted. And this is our great opportunity, as is mentioned that, like Madaji mentioned, that just by hearing Mother Rukmini Devi about Krishna, and as soon as Mother Rukmini heard about Krishna, it's naturally that love is developed from childhood itself in Mother Rukmini's mind. So like that, the devotees are also like that. Why devotees are attached to Krishna? Because of their past lives also. They were all, some way or other, they had some opportunity to worship Krishna in this lifetime also. As soon as we hear, it's developed, that taste develops, that attachment develops for Krishna. And then it's matures. And then we should not waste that. We should not, that opportunity. So to have Krishna. So one day we will also have Krishna with that attention, with that dedication. Like Mother Rukmini Devi, attain Krishna. Similarly, everybody can attain Krishna. So that's such a mood and devotion for Krishna. So our human form of life is meant for that. It's a very powerful. This bhakti is very wonderful, very, very relishing. It's a nectar. It's amazing. There is no enough words that what is this bhakti platform can give a person. Everything is there, everything. So thank you so much, and please join and don't miss any opportunity to engage in loving devotion for Krishna, and in always that keep these verses in our heart. And this way we always remember this, that what is my duty, what is my responsibility, what should I do in our day-to-day life, and how Krishna can be in the center of our life. So this way, our life will be successful. Thank you so much. Let's conclude. Vancha kalpatarubhasya Rupa Sindhu Padidana
Pavanebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo
Namo Namah.
Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai.
Jai.
Raj Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai.
Jai.
Prabhupada ki jai.
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 Dwarkadish ki jai.
Jai.
Gaura Premanande.
Hari,
Hari
Hari,
Bol.
Hari
Thank you so
Bol.
much, Simhesvara Prabhuji.
Thank you,
Wonderful.
Prabhu.
Thank you, everybody.
Wonderful.
Hari Bol.
Hari
Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.